Today, we are going to learn how we can locate points on a number line. In a long track speed skating, each lap is 4/10 of a kilometer. During practice, Elizabeth skated 3 7/5 kilometers. Draw a number line to show 4/10 and 3 7/5. You can use a number line to locate, describe fractions and decimals. So first, we're going to locate 4/10 on a number line. We're going to draw a number line and divide the distance from 0 to 1 into 10 equal parts because 10 is our denominator to show tenths. So we have 0 here, we have 1 here. In between, we have 10 equal parts. We have 1/10 right here, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and then 10/10 would be 1 whole. Therefore, 4/10 would be right here. It's the fourth line in. Now, we're going to locate 3 7/5 on a number line. So now we're not just looking at tenths. We are also looking at hundredths, our hundredths place. So you can show 3 7/5 on a number line divided into tenths by plotting a point halfway between 3 7/10 and 3 8/10. So if you can see here, there's kind of like a weird looking triangle right here. You see that? It's between 3 7/10 because we have 3, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6. We have 3, and then we have 3.8. And in between, we have this whole area. What this did is it took the area between 3 7/10 and 3 8/10 and divided it into another number line, which is down here, in between the two. So here we have 3 7/10 and here we have 3 8/10. And now we're going to write the numbers in between. So we have 3 71/100, 3 72/100, 3 73/100, 3 74/100, and now we've come to 3 75/100. So we just took the number line on the top and then divided it between 3 7/10 and 3 8/10 into smaller numbers. Now let's look at the convince me. Which decimal shown on the number line is not placed in the correct location? Explain. All right, so we have 0 and 1, and in between 0 and 1, there should be 10 spaces. And then we have 1 and 2, and in between 1 and 2, there should be 10 spaces. Well, so far, 0, 1, and 2 are shown correctly. Now let's look at the plots that are on there and see which one's wrong. So we have 1/10, that's correct. 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10 is correct. 6/10 would be right here. Should this one be 9/10? No, it should not. This one should be 7/10 because it is 2 after 5/10, 2 little slots. Let's see if the other ones are numbered correctly. So we're starting with 1, and then this would be 1 and 1/10, 1 and 2/10, 1 and 3/10. That's right. 1 and 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10. That one is also correct. Let's look at do you understand? We need to locate 45/100 on a number line. Well, if we look at this number line, we have 40/100 and 50/100, or that would be the same as 4/10 and 5/10. So we have to locate 45/100. So we have 41/100, 42, 43, 44. Here it is. This would be 45/100, where the green is. And we're going to write that down. We're going to write down 45/100, which is the same as 0.45. That would be a decimal point. All right, let's look at number 2. In the long track speed skating competition, Elizabeth won first place, beating the competition by 8/10 of a second. Draw a number line to represent 8/10. Okay, so if we're going to draw a number line, here's our number line. We have 0/10 and we have 1. and in between each one is going to be 1/10. So now if I'm going to locate 8/10, I'm just going to count 8 spaces. So I've got 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, and here I would have 8/10, and I'm going to label it. Now you can either label it with a decimal or with a fraction. All right, let's look at numbers 3 through 6. So name the decimal for each point on the number line. So we have E. Well, E would be, it's right next to 0.5, so that one would be 0.6, 6/10. Number 4, H. Well, we have 1 here. Now we're counting by tenths, so 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. H would be 1 4/10. So we'd have 1 4/10. Okay, you could also write that as 1 4/10. Either way is fine. It says name the decimal though, so I guess name the decimal, and then if you want to write the fraction, that could just be showing me that you understand how to take a decimal and put it into a fraction. So that would be extra credit. All right, let's look at F. So we have 1.3, and it looks like they took the points, if we look at the little triangle here, of 1.3 and 1.4, and they're dividing it into hundredths now. So we have 1 3/10, or 1 30/100. We have 1 31, 32. F would be 1 33/100. So it would be 1 33/100. That's another 3 if it's hard to see. And now we've got G. So I'm going to count from 35. So we have 1.35, 1.36, 1.37, 1.38. We would have 1 39/100. 39/100. Okay, now you're going to do the rest of the problems on this page, but I'm going to show you how to do number 7 because I just want to make sure you understand. So on numbers 7 through 12, it says name the point on the number line for each fraction or decimal. So we have 7 47/100. Well, if I look on this number line, I have 7 45/100, so 7 47/100 is going to be right here. So what I would do is I would just put a J here. You're going to go through and do the rest on this page, and then come show me. 7/10.